Hey everybody, a few months ago we released More Aggressive Attitudes by designer John Theissen, an operational level American Civil War game. And the next couple weeks we'll be releasing Objective Shreveport, also by John Theissen, also operational level, also the American Civil War. And you're probably wondering, if I have this one, do I need this one? And the answer is yes, of course, you need both of them. You need all our games are great. Buy them all now. The two games are very different from each other. They cover very different campaigns, and they have a very different feel when they're on the table. More Aggressive Attitudes is about the Manassas campaign, and one player described the game as being like a dance between the two armies. And I think that's really apt. And if I can kind of borrow that metaphor and extend it a little bit, if More Aggressive Attitudes is a dance between the two players, then Objective Shreveport is a dance between the two players where one of the players is shackled with a really enormous weight. That's the Union player, and he's dealing with really cumbersome supply trains that makes it very difficult for him to bring his forces to bear. He has a tremendous advantage in manpower, combat strength, but it's hard to get from A to B and inflict the damage he needs on the Confederate player, who is more nimble, more responsive, is not hampered by the need to have these huge supply trains deep in enemy territory. And so the game has a very different feel than More Aggressive Attitudes. It has a nice asymmetry at the heart of it that really makes it sing as its own kind of thing. When I first got More Aggressive Attitudes from John, I thought, this is a really good game. This scratches a operational itch I didn't know I had. And I thought Shreveport would be more of the same, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but Shreveport really is a very different experience, and I really enjoyed that. It's also a much larger game. It's still low counter density, but you have more hexes to fight over. For example, here is the map for More Aggressive Attitudes. It's an 11 by 17. Here is the map for Shreveport. It's a 17 by 22. That's twice as many hexes on the map, so the map's twice as big. So it gives you a lot more to maneuver around, a lot more possibilities, and that's really nice. We additionally were able to up our game a little bit with this one. With More Aggressive Attitudes, there are special event chits which the player uses to give himself an advantage in combat and maneuver, and it really kind of gives a lot of flavor to the game. And this time around, we were able to spring and get event cards instead of chits. So each player has his own deck, own very tiny deck of event cards, and you have all these cards in your hand from turn one. So anytime for the rest of the game, you can play each of these cards once when it best suits your strategy. It's not a case where it's like a CDG where you shuffle the deck and get so many cards and have to deal with your hand. It's more, these are events that you can trigger when you want them to happen, and it just adds to the strategic element of the game. And we're really happy we're able to go up the cards for this time around. So that's just a little bit about Objective Shreveport, which should be coming out fairly soon. And that's all for today.